if anybody wants to start something, I would really recommend to surround yourself with
Yeah.
people who can help and who you trust.
Hi, Marzi folks. This is Elina. Today I have Laetitia Ruccolo with me for the interview. Laetitia is a French-Italian pianist, a vocal coach, a diction coach. Laetitia is one of the founders of the Bear Opera Company. This is a non-profit. Right now, Bear Opera is part of the DECAMERON Opera Coalition with 8 other opera companies across the US. Hi, Laetitia. Thank you so much for being here today with me, for finding the time. It means a lot.
Hi, Elina. It's so nice to see you again. It's been so long
I
since
know,
I have seen you.
it's been ages. Yeah,
It's been
it's so
years.
great. Laetitia is tuning in from France, and we will be discussing a lot of things that concern particularly organizing productions, running companies, founding nonprofits when you are an artist, when you are not a manager with education in management and marketing and things like that, but when you're actually an artist and you know what you want to do, you know how you want to bring your art forward. And Laetitia will share her experience, what she has done founding the nonprofit and running, creating opera productions along with the fellow artists. Laetitia, my first question to you is, pretty much about how it all happened. What is Bear Opera? Why is it different from, let's say, a lot of other opera companies? Because it is very special. And why did you decide to become one of the founders? What was the idea behind this all?
So it started years ago, almost 7 years ago. And we were a group of friends who just graduated from Manus, a very nice school that you know very well. And I've been already working as a pianist and as a coach in many productions, not only in the US, but even before in Europe when I was still studying in Europe. And there was always that little frustration of not, as a pianist, not really being able to do what I wanted artistically, because you have to follow a conductor, you have to follow the stage director, you're not the person hiring the singers, etc., etc. So you just, one of the pieces of the puzzle. And sometimes, I mean, now it's very relaxing for me to do that because I
Yes,
have
with all the experience, yeah,
because I have
absolutely.
the other part where I can really express my own sensibility. But at that time, yeah, I was feeling a little frustrated. And also, I had some ideas. I had some ideas of pieces that I wanted to do, some opera that I wanted to do. I had so many talented friends, talented singer friends, because Manus at that time was just the most extraordinary school for singers, probably in the world. And I had those amazing, talented friends who didn't have a job. I had no opportunity to sing after school because in the US, there were at that time, now it changed since then, but at that time, there were basically big opera companies, and that was it. And those places didn't really hear younger people, and very often they still do that. They make people come from Europe to sing in the US, which is a shame sometimes because there are so many talented singers who are already there.
Absolutely.
So there was that part, and then there was my deep feeling inside that I wanted to convince as many people as possible that opera was really one of the coolest things in arts. and that anybody can experience it and like it
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy it. But it has been very complicated, even when I was still in Europe, when I was still studying in Paris, to bring my non-musician friends, even my musician friends who were not in opera, like the the
Yeah.
pianist solo,
Mm-hmm.
um, like they didn't really know anything about opera. They were not really interested to go, and for them it was too long, too expensive. It felt that they didn't really belong to it. They
Mm-hmm.
were intimidated to go to the theaters, to the big opera houses, and I was lucky to be used to go to the theater, to the opera since I was a kid, because my mom just decided one day that we will go. Like she didn't know anything about it, and we just went there, and I was 10, and since there, I love that. I'm still
Wow.
at the beginning,
It's such a cool
and
story.
it is. So I was one of the youngest, probably,
Mm-hmm.
subscriber to the local opera house here,
Nice.
and and we used to go every year since until I left,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was something that I was used to go without any musical background, without a musical family, without anybody connected to opera around me, but I liked it since the very beginning. So I thought I knew it was possible, but I knew that we needed a different format. And so we started also Loft Opera with my friend Kirsten,
Mm-hmm.
some other people in New York around that time, and that was that crazy experience, like basically putting a production from scratch in a random place, and it worked very well. And so that showed Kirsten and us that and me that we were able to do that, which is something important as well. When you realize I can actually do that, because before I didn't know. And
Right.
so we discovered we could really build a nice show out of basically nothing with very little money. And so that's why we decided to create Bear Opera. So what we do with Bear Opera is that we do a lot of events. We don't only do big productions. We
Mm-hmm.
do concerts. We do karaoke's where I teach the audience some famous operatic tunes.
Wow,
Uh,
that's so cool.
it is very fun, but but it's always in unusual spaces. It's never in a concert hall. It's never in a real theater. It's in
Uh-huh.
warehouses, art gallery. We performed in workspaces, and yeah, like
So that's the spice.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We performed in Staten Island at this incredible place. So I mean, we basically went everywhere, and so any space we make it work. We just adapt to the space. So even when we do a big
Incredible.
opera production, and we do two big opera productions per year,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's always in a space like that, and we kind of the idea is to break, not to have a wall between the audience and the performers. So there is no really a stage space and then the sitting place. It's all kind of mixed. So the
Uh-huh.
singers can come from anywhere in the room, and I mean you're just completely immersed in the production. So that's one thing that makes us very different. And then we also have always very important thing. We have a bar, so people can just have their drink. They can.
Have the real reason to come.
It helps. It
That
helps.
was a joke, but yeah.
But they can, but the thing is, like, it's very relaxed. That's kind of the idea, it's very relaxed. They can take pictures as long as it doesn't disturb the rest of the audience or
Mm-hmm.
the performers. They can bring their drinks inside and sit there. I mean, it's just a very, very relaxed atmosphere. And so that allowed us to bring a lot of people who never been to the opera.
Mm-hmm.
never ever,
Absolutely.
and they really really enjoyed it. We had people from the audience who then volunteered to help us after to do other things in other productions, like to do I don't know, to do the bar or like do things
Cool.
like that. So it's really fun. It's very different, and but also we always have very 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 good singers because the musical quality for me is really essential because it has no sense if you don't have that. So
Yeah.
that's always my number one like important point. First, this is it has to be good, and then you can play around. You can do fun stuff. We've done productions with video projections,
Hmm.
with live video during the show.
Wow.
We try always to have a show that is 2 hours max
Hmm.
because we're not addressing again it's we have people who come who are like opera experts and will
Hmm.
like it, but we're not trying to be the Met.
Hmm.
It's already there, if you want to see the classic production, you go there.
Yeah.
But for us it doesn't make any sense to try to do the same
Hmm.
thing. So yeah, so those are the point that make us a little different, a little bit more edgy, less traditional, and yeah, and it's been working until now. With the pandemic, we transitioned online.
Hmm. And how
So
does it work?
well,
Producing
we
an opera online. I'm thinking about it, and my brain is already kind of exploding.
that's more or less what happened. Well,
Wow.
in the spring 2020, we were supposed to do a world premiere of a new piece.
What is the piece?
So it's called The Presence of Odrodek. It's a project by Malena Dayen, who is an important member of the company, and her husband, David Rosenmeyer. And it was supposed to happen, yes, in May 2020. We had the space, we had everything. And
Hmm.
then, of course, we had to think what to do. And Malena is someone who is incredibly resourceful. And she had her friend, Sanmin Che, who already worked with us as well, who is a great videographer.
Hmm.
And they just managed to move the performance on an online show that was obviously very different from what we were thinking to do at the beginning, but it was amazing. It was in VR, so you could watch it
Wow.
with your phone, or I mean, you can move the images. We had people participating. We were in other continents even, and who just sent their videos, and part of it was even live during the performance. It wasn't
No
streamed on
way.
YouTube, and part of it was happening.
We will
So it
include
was,
the link below in the description, so you guys can go and check it
you
out.
can you can see only some trailers because of
Ah, you took it. Okay.
rights issue. The entire thing is not online, but there are some trailers
Oh,
that you
that's
can
great.
you can watch.
We'll include those just so it's
Absolutely.
possible to have an idea. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's hard to describe it, but the trailer gives a better idea of what it is. And we had several shows. We had one premiere, and then the week after, we had 3 shows during the day, and we had 1,700 people watching everywhere in the world. So
Bravo.
live at the moment. So
Incredible.
yeah, so that
That's so
was that
great.
was a lot of fun. And so after that, we were contacted by the Decameron Opera Coalition. That
Hmm.
is a group of, as you were saying, 9 opera companies in the U.S. in all different places. So one company is in Houston, one in Chicago, one in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
We have, yeah, in Minnesota. I mean, we're a little bit dispatched everywhere in the country. And it started with the composer Peter Hilliard, the librettist Matt Boresi, and Maria Sensi-Sellner, who is the director and the founder of Resonant Works in Pittsburgh, which is a small opera, not only opera company, they do all kind of shows, they also do symphonic. And they had this idea of doing something because everybody was stuck. And they thought about the Decameron, the Boccaccio Decameron that
Of
happened,
course.
of
Yeah,
course, during
the perfect name.
Yes. So the idea was that each company will commission and do a video of one of the story of the Decameron that they will adapt the way they want it. And in a modern way, of course. We didn't do anything medieval.
Okay.
So it was not really like it was not really the story. It was the idea of the story that was kind of transformed with the vision of the librettist and the composer. And so we had 9 little operas that were written last year of, I think it was 10, 12 minutes each. And that was all recorded in video. So each company did their own thing. We didn't watch any of the shows before. So we discovered what the other companies did at the same time than the audience. And so we streamed in episodes, one every week, like a Netflix show. And we had a big frame around it of, you know, the like in the Decameron, you had the frame of the people being outside of Florence and talking. And so we had that frame that was written by Peter and Matt, and we had the luck to have Luca Pizzaroni, who participated in it. So that was such an honor, and it was great because it gave us, you know, way more visibility, and it was a huge success. Our episode was in VR as well, but we had to adapt it to the format of the other videos. So it's not exactly in VR, but again, we have just a little part that is the real VR thing when you can check online on YouTube. And so that has been really an amazing experience. We had, I don't know how many people watching in 6 continents, like almost all the states of the US, in, I don't know, 50 countries or something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
no, it was unbelievable. It's now on the platform Idagio, so it's still possible to watch it.
Excellent. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
With all these huge successes. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you about working as part of big groups, creating productions. How many of you are actually there? I mean, you are the 3 founders of a nonprofit, am I correct?
Yes.
It has to be 3, right?
We were 3 founders. So it was me, my friend Kirsten Scott, who is a mezzo-soprano, and Min Lu, who is an amazing art manager. And so now Min, she's working full-time. She has an incredible job. So she's now the president of the board. So she's still involved, but not as much as she was before. And you were saying creating a nonprofit and, you know, dealing with all the paperwork and everything. She was really useful. She was really the key at the beginning that really helped us to do that, because that's, I mean, you need, as musicians, as you were saying, we're not really prepared to do those things, sadly.
Yeah, like they don't teach these things.
Yes, they don't. So we were lucky to have men who could work with those things, who could manage to understand what was needed, what we had to send. And because, I mean, bureaucracy is a big thing. I thought in France it was bad, but in the US it's worse.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So so yeah, we were very, very lucky to have her on that part, because now we don't really have to worry about that anymore. When it's done, it's at least it's done. Um, but so we mostly, Kirsten and I are really kind of, we work together, we talk together on, not almost every day. Every day we talk together, and most of the time several times a day. So we really like, we like kind of like one person with two heads. And then we have
That's great. I mean, when there are two people, at least two people, thinking in maybe not in the same exactly same way, but in a similar way, that's very, very important for any kind of a production company.
it is very, very important, because it's really hard to do it by yourself alone. There are some people who do it, and I'm really, really in admiration, because what was really important in Bear Opera is that we were several people. We're not alone. And so obviously it really helps that Kirsten and I, we know each other super well. We're best friends in real life as well. So it's very fast. I mean, we work very fast together. We know exactly what the other means, what the other thinks before we even talk. So that's, yeah, that's really incredibly helpful. Then we have Brianna Hunter, who is also one of our closest friends, who's been really helping with the marketing, with promoting the company to bigger, like famous artists, to donors, because she's singing everywhere and she talks about us everywhere. So that's incredibly helpful as well.
Of course.
And then we have, I mean, again, we have really a group of friends. I mean, like, it's kind of Kirsten and I there, but we're a group of friends that know each other since Manas, and have been there all the time, because we have people like Suchen Kim, Liana Guberman, Larissa Martinez, who are also our best friends, but who are there anytime we need something. We need help. We need someone who needs to go there and buy that, or who needs to do anything, or needs to sing something there or that. I mean, they're always there. And Malena as well, who is, she is amazing. So we're really lucky to have that group of friends who are there and who are really invested in the company. Like, they're part of the company as much as we are. Totally. Like, it's a group, you know.
That's incredible.
And I think that's people know that in the opera family, that it's kind of it is a family.
It is, yeah.
It is a family, but we always have we're always super welcoming to other people. We always have new people in every production. We always have, we always welcome, and we have this kind of atmosphere that I think make it way more friendly for everyone who works with us, because it's not just like a bunch of people that you assemble and then you just leave. That sometimes works. Like, I've done some really, really great shows like that, but yeah, it's more like a family thing. So I think that people can feel that, and also the audience can feel that, because when you see that people know each other, there is a chemistry, it's just working like that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of the audience feels included in that as well. So yeah, that's, if anybody wants to start something, I would really recommend to surround yourself with people who can help and who you trust. And it's not always easy. Like, we were really lucky, but it's, like, several times we tried to expand and try to look for someone who could help with that and that. It didn't always work. And you can, of course, you cannot ask people to be as passionate and as invested in the project that you are. So that's something that, we learned. And it's normal. It is normal.
Yeah.
But it's great when you have those people who are as passionate as you are.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all that matters. I can confirm I run my own projects, as you know, and I'm very, very lucky to have my folks around me as well, and grateful. So yeah, that's the only way it can work, because you can't do, I mean, there's only so much you can do alone.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
What is your the biggest production that you have created? How many people were involved? What was the experience like?
I think the last production that we did, Don Giovanni, was the biggest one. Uh, we had the biggest budget, for sure, but it's never that many people, because I think we had like maybe there were maybe, I don't know, 15 singers, including the chorus. We had maybe 12 people in the orchestra. And I mean, I think it's just maybe 30 people, 40 people max involved in each production. So it's never like really a crazy thing. But it's still like you still
It's a
have
lot of,
to
I mean, it
a
is
lot
a
of
good
people you need
number
to
of people,
manage.
yeah, and you need to manage everything. That's great.
Yeah, but it's still far from, those big shows when you have hundreds of people. It's not that. It's
You
still
are on your way, maybe.
human. You still know every single person, which is very important.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, especially if it's a family, which you were saying, there is a personal intake and relationship with every single person then.
Absolutely.
And
That's
there is
very,
this
very important.
availability, yeah, to
Yeah,
do,
yeah,
to
yeah,
have it.
yeah. No, completely. Yeah, that's something, yeah, what you were saying. It's very important for us, to have like every person, like to have a personal relationship. It's not just, even with the orchestra, like, we talked with everybody. It's not just you hire and then you leave, It's different, and it's something very important. Maybe it's because we all women. There is something about that.
Aha. That's a good
I,
point. Um,
it's a big question, but I think there is something different because of it. Yeah,
Perhaps the feminine energy and like whatever they say about it. I don't know.
exactly. They wanted to, to take
Yeah,
care of everybody. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, do you have experience in grant writing? Brings me to the next question. I mean, yes, it's very admin-like, bureaucratic, but there is no show that's going to run without the budget.
Yeah.
So, what's your intake on this, and maybe some suggestions to the folks who are starting to think about it right now?
Yes, no, we do have experience in that, and actually, most of our budget has been coming from small donors and ticket sales. So grant writing is kind of a new thing for us, and I must say that it's very complicated, and we had people who wanted to help, and it never really happened. And it has to be you. If it's your project, it has to be you doing it, because you're the one who knows the thing the best. Because here in the States, it's so complicated, and it's so long. It takes really a lot of time. You really have to look in advance. What are the deadlines? What you need to send, what you need to prepare, because usually you have most of the grants that we applied for, you have two rounds. So you have the first that you have to register, and you have so many things, administrative things you need to do. You have to register here and there and here and there. It takes so long, and then half of the time things don't work. So don't do it at the last moment. Absolutely. And then usually you have only then a couple. Once you pass that first thing, then suddenly you have just a few days to do the second half and fill like 20 pages with detailing your project, your budget, and everything. So yeah, it's only you who can do that, and really take time before. Most of the grant application, they actually have a guideline where it's detailed, like what you need, when you need to fill, so you can see a little bit in advance which informations do you need. But yeah, don't do it at the last moment. Really check the deadlines because it changes all the time. And I must say, it's very, very complicated in the US. They really don't make it easy for you. They really want to discourage people. They want people to give up before the big, I mean, that's,
Yeah, like eliminate the competition in a way.
Totally, totally. Because at some point we're like, yeah, we were almost giving up more than once because it's so complicated, and then you
I know
need
what
this
you
and
mean.
that number and that number. So yeah, so it's not easy, but take your time to do that and check the deadlines and check those guides that those are usually available anytime. So even if your application is in 6 months, check those those things.
Good idea. Yeah.
Prepare those. Yeah. So then when you have to do it, you just have to copy and paste.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes there, I noticed from my own experience with grant writing, especially in the States, that a lot of grants are like the applications have to be really tailored for each one.
Absolutely.
And maybe you can copy and paste one paragraph, but then the other one is going to be relevant, so you have to change so many things.
Oh yeah. No, you will have to
familiar with this.
For each grant, you will have to prepare your own thing.
Have you done it in Europe, by the way?
I haven't done it yet, but I'm looking at it at the moment. And what I must, of course, they ask for a lot of information, a lot of detailed projects and things. What I must say is that they don't make it as inaccessible, because I had a question and I just reached out to like the director. They like, oh, just contact that person. The director, it was the director of the cultural affairs in my region, like where my parents are, and they answered me the day after, giving me the link. This is where you need to apply. This is, and then of course you need to like send 1 million documents, like. But he gave me exactly the right link immediately, and I'm like, yeah, that's a little different, you know. They don't send you like, oh, this is and that and that and that. So we'll see, because I haven't applied yet, and it's not from now. It's going to be later in next year. But at the moment, it looked a little bit more friendly.
Good luck with that, and
Thank you.
I hope you get it.
Yeah.
And of course, since we're talking about nonprofit and founding one, how was this for you personally? Because it's great that you have had someone who knew and was helping out, who knew how to do it. But of course, you were involved directly because you are one of the founders. So maybe you can provide some do's and don'ts, and you know that there are fiscal sponsorships, which are a different approach, but you have made the decision to actually create your own nonprofit, which is the harder road. So first of all, why did you choose this road? Because I'm now very curious. And what would be the suggestions for the people who are thinking maybe between the fiscal sponsorship or founding a nonprofit?
We actually started with a
fiscal sponsorship.
Sponsorship. Yes, that's how we started, and I think we did our 2 first productions that way.
Okay.
Because again, it was the easiest way to do it, and it was very fast. We could start immediately, and so we decided to do that. Then, and also it gave us the time to prepare for nonprofit. Then. The good thing from nonprofit is that you can have donations. People get tax deductions from it, and there are a lot of grant applications that you can only apply if you are a nonprofit. And so in the longer term, if you just want to do one project, it's not worth it. But if you see, if you really want to build something, I think it's a good idea to get a non-profit, because you will have access to things that you don't have if you just have a fiscal sponsorship. But it's a really great and easy way to start a project, and then you can always switch as well. That's completely possible.
True. And how long did it take you to actually found one when it was approved? I heard it's a long process. I've never done it myself.
Oh no, for us it was pretty fast.
Really?
Yeah, I think we had it from the very, very beginning.
I mean, from when you applied and until you got the nonprofit
you mean the
status.
nonprofit?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Sorry.
no, that took time. I thought the fiscal
right. The fiscal is like it can be done in a few days. Yeah.
Exactly. It's very fast. No, it took a while.
yeah, that's what I meant, because I never had the courage to actually start it. I mean, up until now, not yet.
No, it took a while. It took, I think, at least a few weeks, if not a few months. And we finally got it in 2016, beginning of the year. I think it was April 2016, something like that. So that was almost 2 years after we actually started. We founded the company. So yeah, no, it took quite a while, but I think it was a good idea, because later on we never regretted that we've done it. It's made in the longer term, it makes things easier. Also, when you have to send all your info to the IRS, when you have to employ people, and there's all that other aspect of things. So yeah, I think it's important if you want to last for a few years.
Yeah, I guess if you're starting out, go for a fiscal sponsorship. If you are at the crossroads, and maybe in a couple of years it would make sense to create a nonprofit. What are the next productions that are planned? What are you working on now in the next couple of seasons?
So right now we are working on a project with the DECAMERON Opera Coalition again. So this is our second project with them. It's going to be released in October. So we just finished everything. So we are now in the editing part, and the entire project is going to called Heroes, and it's about the unsung heroes of the US. So people who did something for the community and never really got recognized the way they should have been, or unknown people. And we decided to do something a little bit similar to the Facebook page Humans of New York. So we called it Heroes of New York, and it's a libretto by Brianna Hunter and music by Dina Prushansky. And so it's going to show a few of the people that you meet every day in New York, who are part of the city, and you never really talk, you never really know their story, but they are the ones who really make that city alive and vibrant. And so we did the audio recording. We just finished the filming, and now they are editing it, and it's going to be very, very beautiful. So we're very excited about that. That's going to be in October. Then we're hoping
it's online, or there will be like a live everything online. Okay. Do you have a date?
October 1st is the premiere.
Okay, everyone tune in. On October 1st, you're going to see the amazing show that Bear Opera is working on.
Yeah, with some other really amazing companies in the US. So it's really incredible to see what people are doing in other places. It's really fun. And we hope to be able to do a show, like touching wood, and in the spring. And that's going to be it's a premiere. It's a world premiere by the composer Thomas Cabanes, and it's going to called Fire Song, and it's going to be a very different experience again, between opera, between song recitals, And so we hope that this is going to happen in person in New York City in spring
Crossed.
2022. Yeah, really hope, really. Yes. I mean, for the moment, we had so many ideas. We already had, like planned for 2 years before the pandemic. And then now we're like, okay, we'll see. I mean, we have ideas, but we need to wait to see if things are going to be possible, because for us, as I was telling you, so much of our budget comes from the ticket sales that it's, and also we never really perform for very, very big audience. That's kind of the idea. Also, it's that we don't have, tons of people in the room. Like the max, usually it's maybe like 200. It's really big, but it's usually, around like 150 or something like that. So if we cannot have full capacity, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, so we really hope that things are gonna get better very, very soon, so we can put together the shows that we've been planning to do for a while.
Hopefully the world will be back to, I can say back to norm. I don't know if there will be like a normal again. It's going to be like a new normal, I guess.
Yes.
But that things will be possible
Back
for
to
all
better.
of us. Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's have it better. I'm all for it. Excellent. Laetitia, your advice, or maybe just a few points, a mini pep talk to people who are in doubt, especially right now with all this lockdown, to those who want to maybe start something but have no experience, and now, of course, things are not very encouraging. What would you say to those young artists?
Well, I will say, put yourself a deadline.
I love that.
Because if not, we always push it back. We always push it to, and I've been talking with some of my friends who had like so many like great ideas, and they're like, yeah, it's been years that I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, well, do it. And it's just, and what I've experienced with Bear, it's kind of the same thing. I had this idea, I wanted to do this and that, and I remember talking with Min the first time I met her when we were eating macaroons at the macaroon parlor, and she was like, "Well, let's just do it," and we got the place. We got, like, that's also the thing. Get the space. So you have the space and you have the date, and then you're gonna do it.
True.
But if you just, and it's kind of what I've been like, I've been thinking of for years about, doing some of the shows we already did with Bear here in Europe.
I was just gonna ask about that.
Yes, I mean, for years I'm like, oh yeah, we should do it there and this and there, and I've been already talking with some people, and like people are interested, but I never really did the step like, okay, it's gonna happen that there and that, and until I don't do that, it's kind of gonna stay up in the air. So I think it's like I need to do it myself, but but this is really my advice. It's like, okay, it's gonna happen that day, and then you're gonna put things together. Then things are gonna come into place, and well, if they don't, then it's okay. Then just do it, and it's fine. But I think if you don't do that first step, it's always gonna stay, like, oh, later when I have, there's never gonna be a perfect situation. It doesn't exist. It's never gonna, like, all the stars are gonna align and then it's gonna work.
No, you gotta make it into a perfect situation, I guess.
Yes, I think so. So that really would be my main advice, because that's how we did several times, like basically for every production. It's like, it's gonna happen that day. Now what do we do?
That's so familiar. I've been in that boat so many times. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much for this talk. I'm sure it's been helpful to a lot of people out there who are thinking to start something. Go for it, set a deadline, and find a space and do it.
Yeah, there's always people that are interested. There's always the audience. There's people want to see things. So yeah, just go and do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laetitia,
Thank you,
for being
Elina.
here with me today. Everyone, please check the links below because we will include the info about Bear Opera, its projects, and you can see some of the trailers. And October 1st is the show. Don't miss that. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a great time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.